Morning. How you doing, Arturo?
Pretty good, Sam. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just got in late last night from a vacation, so feeling pretty good today.
Oh yeah, you got the high vibes going. You ready to recharge, reflected.
Oh yeah,
Monday's gonna
absolutely.
be killer for you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome,
Pretty
awesome.
pumped.
Or you're in Indiana, right?
Yeah. I'm in the Mishawaka office in Indiana, right by Notre Dame.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Perfect. Yeah, so I just wanted to catch up. Been doing a few calls with guys that are in the group that
Mm-hmm.
hadn't spoken with in a while, and just catching up with them and just seeing where they are and kind of what they've been going through. And you know, obviously, I realize that if guys are hopping on the calls, it's just because they're busy and doing writing business
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I just wanted to check up and see if you need any help with anything in the program or had any questions about anything specifically with ULink, if you got that up and running, if that was helpful, and then just to kind of go through just a quick little 4-question kind of client interview, just real quick, just to kind of get your story and be done. So just nothing more than 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Got it. Yeah. So, did you have any issues with getting the training and getting ULink up and running and all of that?
No, I step by step. It was super easy to follow. So everything was. I haven't had any issues. I have not gotten Facebook ads running yet. My compliance team in Indiana is kind of a pain. And so I'm working with them. Hopefully I'll have it up by the end of the month here. That's the goal. Not necessarily sure that it moves at their pace, which is snail pace when it's compliance. So hopefully I'll have everything approved and good to go by the end of the month. With Reg BI that just came out, they're running around with their heads cut off, a little bit panicked. So a lot of changes for them right now, and I feel like it's kind of gotten put on the back burner, so we'll see how that goes. But as far as LinkedIn messaging is concerned and ULink connecting into the automation process for that, it's been fantastic. Haven't had any issues.
Got it. So, yeah, cool. You getting any appointments and clients coming in?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I knew I was going to be on vacation. I went on a 2-week trip, just got back last night. Like the next 3 weeks ahead, I've got, because I was able to set meetings a couple weeks out, it really stacked on top of itself. I think I have 36 on for Monday of next, or for the week starting next Monday, 33 on for the following week, and then 27 on for the week after that.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a pretty busy week. I'm pretty pumped.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's just share a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about your story. You in Indiana, and just kind of how you got into business and kind of what's going on with you.
Yeah. So just graduated college. Was lucky enough to be introduced to an advisor from Northwestern Mutual while I was in college. I knew that I wanted to be an advisor, wasn't sure where I was going to end up. And while working as an assistant for one of the advisors at Northwestern Mutual, I fell in love. Knew it's where I wanted to be, loved the freedom. So I decided to sign on as soon as I was able to. Started on the intern contract, flipped to full-time, hit all the different, I guess you could say, recognition things for as an intern, first tower, starting out rep, and now with this LinkedIn messaging, things are really starting to pick up. I definitely, the other firms that I'd worked at previously, I knew the demographic that I wanted to be working with. I knew personally what my ideal client would look like. To me, it was more important than the financials because I could find a way to make them a great client. It was more of finding the people that I wanted to be working with, because I want to enjoy what I do. I think that was the most important thing to me, as I saw so many advisors working with people they hated, felt like they had to take business because it's business. I'd say that was probably my biggest fear, is being in a position where I had to take business no matter who it was from. I wanted to have the choice. I think that was a big thing for me when I started out, which is what really brought me to this. Is I wanted to be able to have a way to identify a market and be able to find very similar people over and over again. From there, I get to decide who I work with, and I think that's the coolest thing.
Right. So what got you to that point? What were some experiences that you had kind of leading up to that to realize that, I needed to kind of get a system in place? Like, what was it like before?
Yeah. So you're kind of at the mercy of whoever they tell you to reach out to. So if you're prospecting and you ask for nurses, this, that, and the other, they might not know somebody that's in that specific demographic. And then what ends up happening is you get their cousin or somebody who's not even interested in working with you. You feel like you're chasing them down. And spending time, to me, there are so many better ways to be spending my time than chasing people that don't want to talk to me. I know the value that I can bring in a conversation in someone's life, and I don't want to debate that with anybody. I want to work with people that acknowledge the value that I can bring and want to experience that value themselves and seek me out. I think that is having that positioning is one of the most powerful things in a business. When you stop chasing people and start having them chase you, the business becomes the easiest thing in the world. It's just a repeatable process over and over again, as I'm sure you can relate to.
Got it. Yeah. And so with that being said, you go on a 2-week vacation, and then, your calendar's packed last week, this week, and next week. So can you just reiterate what you said earlier about, the appointments that you have and stuff like that?
Yeah. So still on, we have a program called Launch. Launch is a fairly new program at Northwestern Mutual. Luckily, my leadership team in the Mishawaka office kind of grandfathered me into it because it was a change that was made before the end of my first calendar year. And I'm coming up on that in August. And so for me, I get a $500 bonus for every 7 fact finders that I do. So right now, obviously, there's a really high incentive to be running high activity, having a lot of fact finders. I would not be able to run the same kind of activity prospecting the old way. So I'd say I've got roughly, I think it's 89 meetings on for the next 3 weeks. And those 89 meetings, I'd say it's over 65 are new fact finders. The rest are closes where I've decided those are people that I want to move forward with and have qualified at an extremely high level. So they're I'd say probably 40% of those 25 will end up closing by the end of the year.
Got it. Yeah. I think when I was there, they called it BAP. I think you said it's called Launch now, but it used to be called BAP. It was an activity bonus that you got in the beginning, which is cool. And you said you're still in your first year, so you probably still are eligible for ATAP if you're doing good.
For ATAP.
Yeah, so that's great.
For ATAP. TAP is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. And so, a lot of Northwestern Mutual guys are looking for something, right? And they're just trying to figure something out. And that's really why 90% of the guys in our group are having great success. And they're, trying to kind of figure it out on their own. And, there's some ways that you can do that, right? But it's just like, go ahead, get the system and just get it up and running. So what would you kind of say to some guys' advice that are kind of right behind you that are like, man, I can do this, but it's just like, just going ahead and they're kind of on the fence of hopping on and kind of joining the group. But, what would be some advice that you give them?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was super skeptical when I first started. You see these kind of advertisements more and more frequently. They're getting very good with targeting. They know who they want to talk to. And so if you fit that demographic, you get those messages pretty often. I'll be really honest. I don't know why it is that I chose you, but I'm very grateful that I did. I have colleagues that have worked with other people that provide similar programs, similar ideas for marketing, and they've been a lot less in-depth, a lot less follow-up, a lot less access to training, questions. So I'm very grateful that I jumped in with you. It has made the process 10 times easier and less stressful than it would be if I was doing this all on my own. Being left with just videos and being asked to just go out and do it on your own, I'd say that's a little frightening. But there will always be people that are thinkers and doers. The doers are the ones that will receive everything that the thinkers want to receive or think about receiving. Sorry, my dog's going a little crazy here. So for me, I'd say just jump in. $3,000 when I purchased the program, that $3,000. It seemed like I was skeptical on whether I'd get it back or not, but in the big picture, $3,000 is so insignificant to what you can receive in the long run. And why not try? If $3,000 can make the difference in having the business of your dream and having the business that you hate, I would take that trade all day long. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is the value that you receive from this.
Got it. And so going through the process, I know you said you don't know why you chose me. You know, what do you, if you had to think about it, you know, what was probably one thing that was a decision, was a deal breaker for you to you know, kind of take that leap of faith, even though you were skeptical? Because a lot of guys are, right? A lot of guys watching this stuff, or I'm hopping on the phone with, are skeptical. It's like, who's this Arturo dude? He was at Northwestern, is not anymore. He's doing this. You know, what do you think was one thing that kind of stood out to you that made you choose to work with me?
Yeah, I would say you working with Northwestern advisors was probably the biggest differentiating factor. So being able to relate and know that you understand what we're going through, the kind of conversations that we're having, how our contract is structured, all those things, expectations, you know, a lot more than the other offerings had. A lot of them never worked as an advisor. They're simply marketing individuals. So having that experience as a financial advisor, specifically at Northwestern, was super helpful and in the back of my mind. But then for me, I just feel like I was in that 3% that was just ready to buy. I was ready to make a difference in what my life was experiencing. And I had a big enough pain to drive me to a purchase.
Awesome. Well, Sam, I appreciate you hopping on and just kind of sharing your experience. I know you're just coming back from vacation, so I'll let you get on to kind of getting back into work mode and starting thinking and looking at your CRM and kind of getting ready to go. But I'm excited for you, man, and I'm happy that I did get to meet you and you joined the program, because it's really helped me grow as well. And that's why I'm having these conversations with guys, just to kind of catch up, because I realized that the reason why you weren't around is because you're active and busy. You're doing things, and so I'm glad I reached out to you, and I appreciate getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to following your success. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, Arturo. If you ever want to talk in the future, have any questions, I'd be happy to talk. My experience with like adapting the program as I go, I'd be happy to talk. Usually from like 8 to 10 o'clock, I don't book meetings in that time. That's my LinkedIn messaging. That's my paperwork, email follow-up, all that falls in that 8 to 10 o'clock time. So if you ever want to talk, I'm more than willing to carve some time out for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and you have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, Arturo. Take care.
You too. Bye.